Om Shanti. Let us all experience our eternal self because it's not, I just need to know about it or experience, but I have to be that. So now, for some time, I will be in my real form of eternal self. So, all of us sit straight and all your focus in the center of forehead. That is the seat or the throne for the soul. Very calm, silent. I just become aware of my true self, eternal self. Eternal means which has no beginning and end. Eternal and immortal. It never born, it never dies. Eternal self is completely pure. So light of the soul is complete, is full. I am a pure soul. And from this energy of purity emerges the quality, experience of love. I am a loveful being, love for whole planet, is creation of God, is my family. So there are natural feelings of love. There is deep within the experience of peace. I am a peaceful soul. There is inner power, inner strength. I am a powerful soul. And there is very natural lightness and happiness. I am eternal soul. And I am complete with these qualities. Purity creates love, and love brings peace. Peace is inner strength. His soul feels very happy. I state this experience and take drishti from Baba. In this stage of eternal self, I connect with one who is also eternal, one who is divine, one who is ever pure. Mother and father, parents of the soul. It is at confluence age I get this recognition of who am I. Baba gives me my introduction, so I start claiming my inheritance of all virtues and powers from Baba. I recognize my own self also as eternal self, an image of all the qualities and powers of Baba. Baba is the seed of the world tree, and I am the master seed. It's in deep silence with a lot of love. I stay with Baba. While taking drishti, merged in the ocean of love, merged in the ocean of peace. One who is ever pure, Baba looks at me as eternal, complete soul. I fill myself with Baba Drishti.
तो अपवित्रता सिर्फ किसको दुख देना या पाप कर्म करना नहीं, लेकिन स्वयं को सत्यता, स्वच्छता, विधि पूर्वक अगर अनुभव करते हो तो पवित्र। निकल गया, बोलना नहीं था लेकिन बोल लिया, तो इसको क्या कहेंगे? मालिक है। इसलिए अमृत वेले से लेकर रात तक संकल्प बोल कर्म सेवा सबको चेक करो, मोटे रूप से नहीं चेक करो। अगर मोटे रूप से चेक करेंगे तो देखो चंद्रवंशी को मोटा निशानी तीर कमान दे दी है और सूर्यवंशी को कितनी छोटी सी मुरली दे दी, कितनी हल्की है मुरली। और तीर कमान कितना मेहनत का है। पहले तो निशाना लगाते रहो, दूसरा बोझ उठाते रहो और मुरली देखो, नाचो, गाओ, हंसो, खेलो। तो इसीलिए मोटा मोटा रूप न पुरुषार्थ का रखो, न चेकिंग कर। अभी महीन बुद्धि बनो।
दर्शन करे, आए अनुभव करे, आत्मदर्शन करे, अपने पांचों स्वरूपों का चिंतन करे, अपने पांचों स्वरूपों का चिंतन करे, आए अनुभव करे, आत्मदर्शन करे, अपने पांचों स्वरूपों का चिंतन करे। अनादि रूप रच कर तन भान तज कर, अनादि रूप रच कर तन भान तज कर, परम धाम चले स्मृतियों से सज कर, प्रभु पास आकर किरण में नहाकर, उनसा बने यादों में हम समा कर, स्नेह से कल्प तरु का सिंचन करे, आए अनुभव करे, आत्मदर्शन करे, अपने पांचों स्वरूपों का चिंतन करे।
Om Shanti. Since last night, when I shared that we all have to emerge or remind ourselves of our eternal self, I noticed I had been doing that very often, and beautiful experience come of lightness and very deep silence, peace. And I'm sure that you all also must have reminded yourself, practice for a few minutes so that stay emerge from. So I think more we do this practice, that's what we want. We're giving ourselves 2 weeks, another few days to just really be in that as much we can be. So first you remind, then you find you are able to stay in that stage. As I mentioned that there are 5 qualities in that eternal self. And of course, all qualities are interconnected. So first is purity. And when there is purity, then the love which emerges, and then is inner peace. and then peace brings power, and then happiness, deep happiness and contentment. So this is what I describe or I feel and I experience are the five qualities within inner self. All the qualities are together, like when there is peace, there is contentment, and other qualities also are connected, but these are five qualities within that energy which appears one after another. And when they are all together, that's what I am as eternal self. Is one of the impurity, of course, started with body consciousness, because that's how really everything began, in golden age, silver age, right? So there is no impurity. But gradually, by taking birth, rebirth, our degrees of purity reduce from 16 to 14, 14 to 12. And that is the beginning of cooperage. And then gradually, very gradually, I start losing the identity of the self. So it starts like my body, my nation, my parents, all my begins. So it's like beginning of the body consciousness. And when body conscious begins, then gradually attraction toward the body, then attraction, then from there, when subtle desires are not fulfilled, then anger, then greed, attachment, arrogance, like all these vices gradually emerge. But it's the beginning, really is from body consciousness. So when transformation has to happen, then that also has to be through soul consciousness. So when as much I am becoming eternal self, that much whatever are the traces of body consciousness, they all are being removed. One is body consciousness in a very gross way, I think, which we all have conquered by having control on anger or greed, arrogance, all the vices which are connected with body consciousness. But traces are there. So we are still sensitive. And when we are sensitive, then we react or we respond in the similar way. Like if someone gets upset. So first time I don't pay attention. I remain peaceful, calm. But second time one gets, then third time. I remember one time Dadi Gulzar, she always used to say that whatever your reaction or response is from your sanskar. We will say because of the situation, because of person's behavior, because of that person did it. Of course, that's right too. That's 100% right. But what I am internally going through, because we going through in the sense of some kind of disturbance come, or I'm affected by that, that means still there are sanskars in me. If I don't have sanskar or trace of anger at all, I won't get upset, right? So what we have to look into here, that through soul consciousness, all the traces of body consciousness can be removed. So we are no more sensitive, in the sense that Baba says, until end, some test will come, some situation will come. It could be behavior of a person, it could be uh, from a physical way, some kind of situation will come, and you have to pass with honor. That means until end, I have to keep practicing until I become complete, where there is no trace left. So what will happen? There are two examples I can think of, but one I gave is about the waves in the ocean. So if you are really a good swimmer, and then if you join a competition or what, so you look for another big wave, another big wave, bigger and bigger waves come, but I can swim across. Same, they give example of vehicle, motor, car. When it has to come on the road, before coming on the road, it goes through so many tests, so that the tires are road proof and accident proof. So many things are tested. So, in the same way, for us to be perfect, to be complete, and to be real, according to drama, these situations will come. So, you cannot even blame anyone that why you have to be like that. You shouldn't have said like that. Yeah, it shouldn't, that's right. But also, it had to be according to drama. So, if I always remind myself that there will always be something or other where I can again come back in body consciousness, small traces. So this practice of eternal self, as much we practice, will help us to overcome those traces of body consciousness. So my response will be very sweet. My response will be smile. Or in other words, we will be merciful on that soul. Because if soul is acting in a particular way, of course, that's the part of that soul. But then on the other side, I also have to just have love, have mercy. That's something important, which comes from our stage of soul consciousness. So that is why experiencing and being eternal self all the time is very, very important. This practice, as I said, it will finally remove all the traces of body consciousness. Now, actually, body is nurtured by, sustained by five elements, right? If there is no air, you can't breathe. There is no water, this body cannot last for long. Every element is needed for the body. Heat is needed. So there is sunlight. So all the elements support the body. So that is why Baba said in one of these poems also it comes that make the elements nature pure so that you become Sato Pradhan. Because again, I have to get the body and body from pure elements. But if I want to be supported by these five elements all the time, and that's where they give example that Sri Krishna was taken across the river and the tides were rising more and more. So his father was almost drowning. But these waves were trying to touch the feet of Sri Krishna. So they were going very high because they thought that's so and they will remain pure. So elements cannot then hurt you in any way. Wherever we are, we remain safe. If my relationship, my vibrations for the nature, and that is where respecting of not overusing anything or wasting anything. Because if we overusing, it's the greed. And when we are wasting, it's not respect to the nature. And that is why I remember, you all must be remembering, in childhood we were told so many little lessons that we shouldn't waste anything and also not overuse anything. So that is why this slogan with Dadi left with us of simplicity is very important. Because, yes, before knowledge, we put on ourselves, when it came to clothing, when it came to jewelry, when it came to anything, right? So we will put lot of money in that, lot of expense in that. But now we know that it's really overuse of something. We should always remind ourselves at confluence age that this is the time we are settling. all past, whatever karmic accounts we still have. And for that, we have to be very careful that if I am consuming all the time more and more, I am also creating some karmas of greed. And Dadi Janki always reminded us whenever she met people, I heard her saying that whatever you have is your income, you made efforts, but from where money came. It doesn't belong really to anyone because you did business, but you got it from people, right? So it's our money, it's not my money. And some people in olden days also understood this, but these days that is not there. I remember that my grandfather always used to say, no, like have a trust to educate children or something for hospital, something for poor. So we always will create a trust or something. So it's coming from people, and Dadi Janki always says it should be used for serving. It's not you don't have to take care of yourself or family or have some saving, but also some part of it should go towards community service. So before we did social service, like we will give for food, we will give for education. I saw in my Lokik family a lot of projects. At that time, with partition of country, there were many children who were orphans and didn't have enough to eat. So he always used to teach us that you have to share. So instead of one sandwich, they will give me two. And they say, on the way, if you see any child who is hungry, you must give sandwich. So I am grown with lot sharing and caring for others. But now, because of knowledge, we are also careful of our karmic accounts. So even when we give, we have to think twice where we giving, for what we giving. But also now we understand that whatever we have, then I have to have a share for others also. So as a service through the body, which we call karma yoga, is very, very important. Some seva through the body in whatever way we can do it. Because there is a tradition also in India. You must have heard about Golden Temple in Amritsar, but even otherwise, very, very wealthy people, very early in the morning when it's still dark, they will go and clean the temple. They will go and do some kind of seva. They call it seva. So same is through our body. We have to do some seva in some way. But same is with the wealth, with the money, that I have to share that with the community service, in whatever way service is happening. And then as there is value of every breath, right? Every moment, time, breath and then time. The third is really every cent. I never realized that how valuable every cent is of our children. Not to keep it, but when you use it. So we were doing this project in 1986 called Million Millets of Peace Appeal. So we were very new in USA. I am in New York, and we wanted to do this in a big way. We thought so many millions of population in New York. At least should have 1 million flyer. And I think that we didn't have that experience of printing 1 million flyer, right? So we opened the yellow book, found name of a printer downtown in Manhattan. Gayatri and myself got in the train. Somewhere, all the way, somewhere we found this printer. It was a very big place. We pressed the doorbell. They opened. There were big guys there. And okay, come in. And they looked at us. We didn't have any bag or anything we didn't look like we have anything. So he said, anyway, sit. But sometimes when we are innocent and we do big things, people's heart get touched. So they became our friends, two of them, and they were in different, I don't know, from different countries. So they said, "What do you want?" We said, "We want to print 1 million flyer. How much it will cost?" Because we had innocent has its own authority, right? Not knowing what it could be. So they said, "Okay, we calculate and then we let you know." And then they called us. They said, "Every flyer will be 1 cent." So I said, 1 cent, 1 million cents we need. Now, from where we will bring, how much it is by the time we convert it in dollars. But what we thought that let's take the initiative that we at the center sisters start saving cent by cent. So we put a very big box. That means if we are using tea bag, before like it will be for 1 cup, we decided we will share, make 2 cups from one tea bag. And we used to go often to Manhattan for service, take our sandwich or lunch, but we had to buy some drink. So if you buy drink there from a stall, it used to be 85 cents at that time. But when you buy it in a store, then it's only 35. Oh, we were so happy. We can save 50 cents there. So we start counting where we could save cents. And so interesting that we saved a lot. Of course, others were also putting cents, other students also. But we were 4, 5 sisters at center and we start doing that. And then the flyer which that person will get, they had to meditate and give us minutes. So they had to contribute minutes, but we had to supply. So of course, it's a long story. Then they're asking us, okay, what kind of vehicle you will bring to take the flyers? Where will you keep flyers? We didn't think all that. So we said, well, we don't have car, but we can bring someone to take some flyers. And can you keep it whenever as much we can take? So they were laughing. Some or other, they became like part of the project. They start enjoying us as not knowing what to do. And of course, we could never bring 1 million or distribute, but then on the streets, we will keep distributing flyers. But what I realized that Brahmins 1 cent, one flyer can give God's message. So why am wasting 1 cent? After that, really I understood when Baba says 1 moment, 1 second, but 1 cent, or penny, whatever it is of also value. Because if one flyer someone gets Baba's introduction, gets knowledge, or even visits center, it's just valuable, no? So we see it like that minimum is also valuable, but it's also good to see how do I create my budget in such a way where I have for family, for saving, for travel, whatever it is. But after that, whatever we fix it, then it should be done. First of all, should be done that. And then we whether put in Baba's box, some we keep for Madhuban. No, it's different ways. But what I'm saying is that elevated karmas, because wealth also is part of nature, right? Part of elements, because it comes from whether it is silver coin, whether it is whatever kind of coin, it's from the earth, right? Every metal comes from the earth, so it's part of the elements, right? So somewhere deep relationship with the elements is very important because they ultimately, elements will protect us, will provide us. It could be by fortune, it could be Baba, but it's directly coming from elements. So seva through body, And seva through wealth is something where I'm able to use everything in a worthwhile way. And every cent I use for Baba is really for my fortune, not only for future, but even now. Mm. I have this experience so much. Once I was from London, there was a meeting I went, then left for airport. Got in the plane after about 3.5 hours. We flew, and there was some mechanical problem. They said we have to go back to London. We cannot fly up to New York. Anyway, we came back. It was midnight. Now, how do I inform center? And I didn't want it to go to hotel midnight. I said, no, I won't go. So I thought, let me make a call to the nearest center to airport, which is about 10 minutes. It's Hounslow. Maybe they can come for me and take me. So anyway, when I went to booth, no, I had dollar, but I didn't have 35 cents. 35 penny was needed for the call. So when near the booth, I said, well, if someone passes by, I will give dollar and try to get pennies. But when I went on the booth, there were 35 pennies sitting there. I said, I can't take it because that's stealing, no? Maybe somebody was calling, didn't get called, got left there. But I put a dollar and I said, if somebody comes, I will say, take this dollar and use 35 pennies. And then I called and someone came and took me. But I was so amazed why these 35 pennies are sitting for me there. But like this, there are so many instances where I find that there is always help. You know, even in Madhuban, once whatever we had to give, I gave to Madhuban, ready to leave. But suddenly something came up and everyone had to contribute. So I said, I don't have anything. Maybe I will borrow from someone and then give in New York. But then while clearing all that, I found an envelope. I don't know how it was left there. So I said, oh, good, this is what I wanted to give. So there is always like whether you want to give, it appears, whether you need, it appears, because there is a very subtle. So even we use word contribution, donation, but it's not that. I belong to Baba. Is Baba's task, is my task. Plus also I want to create my fortune with Baba and also with the nature. So wealth also is part of that. So in soul consciousness, and keep doing elevated actions, create your more and more purity, making you now complete. It's not purity only at the level of consciousness or thoughts, words, but also purity at all levels. So, this connection of elements with my karmas, with my actions, because even if other human being, if you are eating Brahma Bhojan, someone comes and you offer Brahma Bhojan to that person, Baba's child, or it could be anyone sometimes. Or like Dadi Janki, she distributes so much choli. I travel with her for many, many years, and she will not give up this container with choli. Once we were in Mexico, we even crossed immigration custom. I said, Dadi, now give this container. She said, no, no, maybe there will be someone else. So when I asked her that why you have to distribute so much toli at UN, there are 800 people, we need 800 tolis when we were so few. She said, it's Bhandara of God, it's parents of the world. So even little piece of toli from Baba's Bhandara, if it goes in their stomach, they will feel sustenance of God. So her understanding of distributing toli was not, oh, but it was more like it is Baba's Bhandara. Everyone put in Baba's Bhandara, but then it belongs to Baba. And we buy, make toli from there, distribute to everyone. Or these days we have blessing card, the card of blessing, which we print so much, so much. and keep giving. These days, today, I had a call with a group of trustees, Telugu people who are building a new big temple in New Jersey. So I was talking to them, and then in the end, they say, "Can you give us some blessing or conduct meditation?" Which I did. But then I took a card of blessing and read for them. It was so nice. You have to uplift, you have to be merciful, you have to forgive. And they were so happy to get that. So I'm just giving example that little bit of whatever we are able to share with others brings a lot of happiness. Instead of, Baba says, bring happiness, give happiness to everyone, because purity means you're not causing sorrow, but giving happiness. So I thought this is the best way to give happiness is to read the blessing card. And when you read it anywhere, whether I go to clinic, to doctors, everywhere, they really wait for this blessing card. They put it in office on their counter, and really good way to service. But it needs money, little bit, whatever it is. So I'm just giving example that there is value of every cent we spend and every cent we save, and use it in Baba's service. So it will be breath, it will be moment, and a scent. Three energies: energy of time, energy of breath, and energy of money. And there is whole book written by Jagdish Ramesh Bhai on pure wealth, which is being translated, and we might be able to print it in English. What is pure wealth? And if we belong to Baba, it is pure wealth. But also then whatever we give to the body, it's pure food, but also from pure wealth. So tomorrow is Thursday. We will talk about pure wealth to pure food in the body. Also is creating a strength of purity, the power of purity, because body, soul is becoming pure, but body also has to be purified. It is both ways. So we can keep reflecting on purity and keep increasing our practice of my eternal self. Keep practice in such a way, not through thoughts, but real way, so that you start feeling, who am I as eternal self? You know, you will have internally really that kind of real feeling of being eternally pure soul. Eternal self is pure soul, complete soul. And that is very, very important. So we continue with our homework, our practices, and aim of just be eternal soul. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, welcome again. A is for a Vyakti Parivar, B is for Baba, and C is for Canada. Yes, today we're going to visit 3 places in Canada. The 3 places are Calgary, Ottawa, and Edmonton. Let's all fly together.
Thank you for taking us a trip to Canada, 3 centers at same time. Congratulations, good wishes. This is Calgary, beautiful, beautiful space and beautiful angels. Congratulations, good wishes. Hello, Brother Ron. I had been remembering you so much. I was telling Bhumi, can I will be able to see it on or not? And she said you will be there. Our good wishes with you for your well-being, your health. You're doing very well. It's beautiful place. I still remember. It's the same place, right? So thank you for allowing us to visit and our good wishes with you. So whenever there is a chance, just call me. Okay, Om Shanti. Take care of your health. वो नहीं है Anita. Anita is there. Where is Anita? Sangeeta, right? Sangeeta for Ottawa. Okay. Incognito, maybe. Anyway, our good wishes with you also. Okay. Anyway, hello to Sangeeta also. Thank you for team putting it together and for those who had been helping them to send the video. Yeah, it's just the beginning. Okay. Blessing for tomorrow, but we start reflecting on. May you be an intense effort maker. May you be an intense effort maker. Now, the definition of intense effort maker: pass through all the obstacles. Intense effort maker, pass through all the obstacles that are to come with your double light form. Cross all the obstacles that are to come with your double light form. Instead of being made tired or disheartened by the obstacles that are to come, take a high jump in a second. Instead of being made tired or disheartened by the obstacles that are to come, take a high jump in a second with your double light form. And what is that double light? Your soul conscious form of light and being an instrument. Combination of lightness. One is soul conscious form of light and being an instrument. So double light. I am just the instrument, Nimit. Do not waste your time in breaking the rock of obstacles. Sometimes we see something and we say, I have to resolve it. I have to take care of it. No, it's like breaking the rock. Do not waste your time in breaking the rock of obstacles. Jump across in a second. Do not make an easy part difficult with even a little bit of forgetfulness. Do not make an easy path difficult with even a little bit of forgetfulness. You can clearly see the future elevated destination. You can clearly see your future elevated destination of your life. So become an intense effort maker. Remain constantly stable in the elevated form with which Bab Dada and world see you. Remain constantly stable in the elevated form with which Bap Dada and the world see you. Slogan is remain constantly happy and share that happiness. Remain constantly happy and share that happiness. This is the highest honor. Share happiness, this is the highest honor. So we will continue our practice, reflections, lot of attention to the Murli in the morning, lot of jewels are emerging, directions, what's happening in the world, what we should do. Everything is very, very clear in the Murli. Don't see Murli as a revised Murli, but always feel in the morning, Baba is speaking to us, Baba is talking to me, and you will be very, very clear about everything, what response we should have at present situation, how should we prepare ourselves. Even we are doing some meetings to create some guidelines. We will help you on with that. But also we take a really full benefit from the Murli to understand what Baba is talking about time, what Baba is talking about situations, and what we have supposed to do spiritually in these circumstances. Because you know what is happening all over the world. So we just look at Baba as our leader, Baba as our boss. We are with Baba, guided by Baba. So nothing goes waste, and Baba could use it for worthwhile way. Om Shanti. Let's remember Baba. And thank you to Baba, because so many are saying sitting at home for such long time, but having these sessions had been like with the big family and gives lot of joy, lot of happiness. Of course, whatever we share, but being together in company, feeling in a family at this time of isolation, I think is very, very beneficial. And I'm sure this is a gift from Baba for all of us. Om Shanti. Swami Gita Patshalana. Mahendra Bhai, Om Shanti. The small Gita Patshala there also. It's nice to meet you. Om Shanti.
इसी में शांति की छाया है, इसी में सुख की धूप है। कल्प कल्प के भाग्य भवन की ये आधारशिला, जिसकी सुगंध से
Om Shanti and good night, everyone. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Unmute.